There's just no queen like a vegan queen. Hi, loves, it's me again, that there bloody Gemini Andro who's always mucking about.
And me, Miasma, who's along for the ride and not always sure what's happening but still having a nice time.
Oh, how are you, darling?
Well, you know, I'm bearing up as best I can in this increasingly insane world of nonsense and sillies.
Well, this is why I'm right glad we're still doing these fortnightly shenanigans. You know, because it gives us it's a way for us to doll ourselves up. Because, you know, honest to God, Miasma, usually when I've nothing to do, I've no makeup, I've my hair scraped back in a pony, showing how bloody high my forehead really is. You know, I've grey jogging bottoms that there's probably piss stains in crutch. I'm vile. Tits down to my ankles, Salt City. You know, I put a bit of weight on, I don't mind telling you, but that's something I'm planning to tackle. I've had a word with that Paul.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I've said, you can't keep starting these health journeys and then letting yourself down. You're letting yourself down. And you're letting me down and all. And he were a bit upset about it, but he said, Gem, I know it's just a really tough time at the moment. And I said, all the more reason to put yourself first.
Yeah. It's hard though, isn't it? It's hard. You've got to get your head around that and so on and so forth. Funnily enough, now you've mentioned grey jogging bottoms. I saw someone tweet the other day, oh, it's grey jogging bottom season, everybody, and like loads of emojis, you know, because that whole thing about like gentlemen, shall we say, in grey jogging bottoms. I'm sure you know what I'm on about.
Well, I very much enjoy a gentleman in a grey jogging bottom, as you know, very much enjoy. And it was an interest that flickered up in me in the 80s. Actually, because that's when they had the first resurgence. You know, it was grey sweatshirts came out first, and then everything else made out of the same material as grey sweatshirts.
Yeah. I wonder if it's got something to do with, do you know, like, sometimes on, like, older prison films, you see the people in the yard, don't you, in, like, grey sweatshirts and grey bottoms and stuff, and I'm wondering, do you know what I mean? Like, is
there a link there? Right, Miasma, people will be start thinking, why are they dressed so differently today? So, can you please tell the lovely people what you are representing in this beautiful outfit?
Thank you, love. This thrown together combobulation is in honour of Black History Month, which is all this month. You know, commemorating the contributions and also, you know, just marking not only the influential people who are black that have contributed to the life of the world, but everybody, you know, and I think that's really important, particularly this year, as we know, with everything that's gone on. So that's what I'm representing today, or rather celebrating, I should say.
And I love that, because, I mean, let's not forget that there have been pinnacle black people throughout history who have had to fight to have their story told. Now, even Hollywood has shown you that. What was that film called about the three black women at NASA?
Oh, was it Hidden Figures? Is it that? Yeah, the mathematicians.
The title says it all.
Says it all, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean, though? So that's very important. Now, if you could reciprocate the question, my lovely Miasma.
My darling Gemini,
yes,
would you tell please the viewers at home why you're looking so particularly fabulous today in this gorgeous outfit?
I shall indeed. Now, I've worn this dress as a kind of rainbow, you know, celebration of everything. And I think we've got some red and some yellow and some green in there. So that's my tip of the hat to Black History Month. But my main awareness campaign today is breast cancer awareness.
Yes, of course.
And because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, what some of you eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed is I'm not wearing any.
Me neither.
Now for Gemini, that's a rarity. Gemini never has no breasts. And aren't I still incredibly beautiful? And that's the point, Karen. So ladies, please, please, please get your breasts checked. If you've ever had a problem and you've had to wear a replacement, that's all I wear all the time. But today, in solidarity, nothing. Except me pierced nipples, and they feel marvellous.
rubbing up against a nice top. Do you know that's so freaky? Because I'm not wearing any either, and we didn't plan that at all.
We didn't, did we?
We didn't. It just looked daft with this.
You know, although breasts are beautiful, and they are beautiful, they don't maketh the woman.
No.
And I think a lot of women are made to feel that they are such a kind of, a bit like men and their dicks, actually. It's the pinnacle thing, you know, that represents them. It feeds babies, you know, all of that. And yet, at my asthma, I've seen some beautiful women who've had double mastectomies. I wish I could remember her name. She had a double mastectomy, and then she's had this like multicoloured floral black bra tattooed.
Ooh.
With straps and everything. Absolutely, utterly stunning. Anyway, let's not dwell on it, because it's, you know, but get your breast checked, girls, just for safety reasons, and you are less of a woman without them.
That's very true. And while we're at it, boys, do a little check you send, because men can develop breast cancer.
They can indeed, yeah.
Not as common, but still worth, you know, don't think, oh, it's nothing to do with me. We've all got to keep his eye on his testicles, haven't we? You know.
Check your boobs, check your balls, have some fun and check it all.
It's like, this is the social content and the social commentary that we need here today in 2020.
Angela Rayner, I love her. She said scum in Parliament.
She did.
Oh, the reaction of the speaker lady. Yeah, but like such deadpan seriousness. We do not use words like that here, and the representative should know better. I was just like, actually the word scum is not, it's not necessarily the person is scum. It could be saying what they're saying is scum.
Yeah.
What they're trying to pass off as fact is scum.
Which it were, by the way.
And can't we allow for real? Can't we allow for humanity, for human, for real, for emotion-fueled responses? And I'm not. See, I think that there's too much emphasis these days put on language and words. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Well, there's many things, but one is like, if the best you can do to refute an argument is to start to critique someone's use of language, you've already lost the argument. That's all they had. It was like literally when she said that, and then I think another load of Tory MPs were like, oh, this is disgusting. I'm like, imagine trying to take the moral high ground when your party's already lower than the minutest form of pond scum. There's scum again. But you have no moral high ground here, and that's why the only thing you've got to come back at is to criticise Angela Rayner's use of language. Yeah. Because lest we forget, this is in response to the Tories voting against providing children who do not have access to food with food.
You hear that, people? Our Parliament voted down a motion to feed children school meals throughout the school holidays.
Yeah.
Keeping people employed, keeping poor children fed.
Yeah.
Parliament voted it down. So don't think it's all about you in America having a tough time with the Trumpster. Because Western politics right now is a mess.
Exactly. And what this is exemplified, love, this is one of the reasons, because there's too much on emphasis on etiquette, and this is how we do things, and not enough actually doing anything.
I think the world is scared. I think the world is scared to change. But the world has to change. In fact, the only way that the world has ever moved forward and advanced and evolved is through change. And that's why we're not still riding round in chariots beating people with a bullwhip.
Although do feel free as long as you've got their consent.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I think somebody shared so a young Asian MP, I wish I knew her name. I'm not good with names, miasma. In Parliament talking about the school dinners thing. And you know, a lot of people were saying this is what we need more of. We need young, fresh blood. We don't need these old fuddy-duddies. But I think, and I'm sure either I've said it recently or Paul said it recently, one of us has, that Parliament, I prefer the style of the UN, the EU. Circular.
Yeah.
You know, but this two sides thing, I mean, it creates the environment where it seems like it would be perfectly appropriate to shout the word scum, but then you've got some Miss Stinky Knickers sat there saying, you know, oh, I'm a 1930s headmistress, don't you dare. And it's just like, are we not allowed to be passionate? I mean, this is people's lives we're talking about. This is children. This is... Oh, there's so much. There's so much at the moment. Go on. Sorry, Dan.
With that house, isn't it, though? It's like, the reason it was so shocking is because the house is not used to people actually giving a shit.
Absolutely.
And I do believe she does.
Speaking of people who do give a shit and do stand up to be counted, so we've got Angela Rayner. Good on her, good girl. How do you feel, miasma, about what Andy Burnham has been, about his kind of, you know, the way he's handled this? Do you think, and you can answer honestly here, do you think it was showboating, or do you think that's genuine Manx spirit right there?
I read it as, I would like to sidebar this with the fact that Andy Burnham has had 2 press conferences in the past couple of days. I've walked past both of them oblivious, I would just like to say. And then gone, oh, over there. Didn't even know. I think, I read it as genuine. I have a lot of respect for what he did, particularly in this last, the last broadcast. You know, I mean, that moment, it was like electrifying, wasn't it, when he got the text, like live basically, to say, and I think he's echoing, and he's a very smart cookie if so, because what he's doing is what Keir Starmer should be doing for the Labour Party, which is not kowtowing to like the party line and going, oh yes, we agree, fine,
Absolutely.
so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
He's saying, no, we're not having this. And it's very smart, because the North has been split since the last election with people who voted Tory, and actually, by hook or by crook, it's now been seen that, like, as if we needed evidence, but some people clearly do because they're foolish, that central government in London, the Tories, they do not care about the North. They have never cared about the North. Do you know what I mean? If this was actually about the whole country would be in tier 3.
Yeah.
This is just,
absolutely.
again, another stick in plaster of going, so that when people look back, they can go, oh, well, we had a go. It's like, well, you didn't have a go hard enough, did you?
It does have to be said, though, miasma, looking into the statistics about the ICU beds, that the areas that have been asked to or have been put into tier 3 are in a dangerous position because the occupancy in the ICU isn't going down, and in some places it's already 90% odd, but the infection rates and the hospitalisations are still going up. And I think that although I'm very happy to rip the government, trust me, you know me and Boris, can't stand the man.
No, right.
But we have to have a sense of responsibility as well.
No, you are right. You're absolutely right.
Because we've all seen the videos in London, Liverpool and Manchester, all 3 places, when the pubs had to shut their doors at 10 and there were hundreds of people out in the streets dancing, partying, playing cricket. You know, and of course, but that, I suppose a lot of that confusion comes from the messaging from the government. You can't see your friends, you can't do this, but you must go to work and you can use the bus, and it is all very confusing. I think personally that there needs to be a nationwide circuit breaker, as they're calling it, a circuit breaker. An official 1 month was shut.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that here's where the issue is. One, well, there's 2, but they're part of the same one. One is you can't put a region in tier 3, and we've talked about this before, as have Stuart and Paul, but then go, except for this, because then I'm like, well, that's the area's not in tier 3 then, is it? Have a look at Stuart. His bubble now currently consists of about 150 people because of work, you know what I mean, across numerous spaces, rooms and places over the course of a week. But that's fine, because we've had government guidance that that's fine. You know what I mean? And then number 2 is, if they want to do that, which they should, they're gonna have to step up and support these industries and businesses.
Oh, absolutely. As we film this Thursday morning, Sunak just released another kind of whole package of stuff, even for companies and things that are in tier 2, and it's retroactive.
Yeah.
So, and here's the rub. All these things prove that if it needs to be done, it can be. The money's there.
Of course it is.
And if there isn't, change the system and print more. I don't want to hear any bullshit. Oh well, we couldn't do that because the financial systems of the world would collapse. So, change the world. Change it. I mean,
exactly.
I don't want to start getting onto a thing about kind of universal basic income, but universal basic income. And you know, it's I mean, I feel like because we're not spring chickens anymore, Miasma, neither you or myself. You know, I'm in my early 50s, you're in your early 30s, with a lot of life experience.
We've seen some shit.
Yeah, but it feels like we've kind of missed the chance. Or maybe we haven't, maybe that's a defeatist thought. But it feels like we've missed the chance to make any major moves. And what I don't want to do is become one of those older people who completely who completely relies on the younger generation to do all the work that I knew needed to be done and couldn't be asked.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think talking about it's important. It's important that we talk about it, because it puts a thought in people's head. Like people say, socialism is evil. What? Universal healthcare, free education, universal income, those kind of things which would be labelled purely as socialism. They're bad, are they? Are they? Why? Tell me why.
Why are they bad? And if this is online, I want proper sources that are not an opinion piece from the Daily Mail. Because that is not evidence and it never will be, so don't start. Can you tell about a week
Absolutely.
of it? Can you tell about a week of it on Twitter? But you're so right, because we have to change. All this time, we'll go back to normal. Let's not.
Yeah,
Because
let's-
normal clearly doesn't work. Because this pandemic has shown us how many of the systems that are in place that we've all quietly complied with, because that's what our parents taught us and their parents taught them, they clearly don't work, because when push comes to shove, the safety net just completely drops out. So it wasn't stable to begin with. So change it.
Miasma, are we the most political drag queens on YouTube?
I hope so, and if we're not, I'm gonna do something.
I think we might be, you know, because a lot of other drag queens just kind of, you know, focus on doing mock pop videos and, you know, funny, always funny. I like that we talk about the real stuff.
I think we got to.
And we had a bit of glamour to it.
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny, I think drag's a great place to do that as well, because we already exist in like a little gap between the margins, don't we, sort of thing, like in between the binary. So it's like, if you can question that, we'll question everything. We'll have you bang to rights, all you folk, what are gang-handed. We'll get
She
you.
is dark-sided.
Do you know what's really sad, actually?
Did you? Oh, sorry, I must say this because I only saw it on TV this morning. I thought it was wonderful.
Go on.
AOC has just done a kind of big Twitch gaming session with people, like a guy from the UK, and they were talking about healthcare and everything, but having a fun time on Twitch while gaming,
Nice.
just to promote. Please get out and vote. She was having a whale of a time, and it was so lovely to see someone being real, doing something
Yeah.
real that we can connect with.
Yeah. Well, she's
You
one
know.
of these rule breakers, isn't she? And that's why they hate her. Because she's like, I'm not going to toe that party line because it doesn't work. Because the
That
only
was
people
that-
it protects are the people that are just towing it.
That was utterly amazing when they came out with that video she did at college, which was a mock-up of the Breakfast Club dance.
Oh, yes.
And and they were like, look at her, look at this, and everyone was like, oh, how lovely, how fabulous.
And also, while we're on the subject, it's like, look at your Republicans, half of them are rapists. Do you really want to pull at that thread? AOC does Breakfast Club dance, sexual assault. Ooh, which is worse? Which is worse?
You know, though, Miasma, I must say, and I am kind of, I'm coming more and more to this line of thinking the older I get, really. There is a place in the world for the Republican Party, but not Trump's Republican Party.
No.
What Trump has done to the Republican Party in America is change its face completely and made every one of the people who are senators and so on, has made them complicit in the promotion of white privilege and racism and separation and lies and sexual indecency and and conspiracy theories and on and on and on. And you know, I think the most scary part, but it's much like the Conservative Party in this country, the only person I have seen of late with the kahunas big enough to stand up in the back Tory benches and say, this is wrong, I disagree, is Theresa May.
To be fair to her, she has done that on several occasions now.
Several occasions. And it's made me kind of miss her, because I never forget that she was at heart a Remainer.
Yeah.
But she tried to strike up a deal for Brexit because it was what was voted for in this country. She was doing her duty as a politician. And I might have been cruel to her at some points over the, you know, time. And I reserve the right to do that. I reserve the right to feel bad about that afterwards.
Yeah, you know, she was a public figure, and she put herself in that position. So
She did.
I think you're fair game for satire.
Absolutely.
And comedy and you know, prodding, because nobody made you do that.
No.
You chose.
I mean, I do love her. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh, she was marvellous.
No, she's still a Tory at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But
and I am not a
credit where it's
conservative.
due. Credit where
I don't
it's due.
believe. I mean, let's not forget what conservative means. It means conserving what you have.
Mm-hmm.
That's the pure essence. The essence of conservatism, of being a Tory, is about you personally being able to conserve what you have.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine how that benefits.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Hey, what a bloody world, my
What a
asthma.
world! What a world! No, that's not the right song. But,
So have you done anything fun lately, my darling? Have you watched anything exciting?
Oh! Well, it's nearly spooky season. More on that next time. But I have been watching. There's been quite a few drops on Netflix of late. You know, of like decent stuff. I suppose that's a matter of opinion, isn't it? But I've been watching The Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix.
Oh, what do you think?
Well, do you know what? It's a lot slower and more gentle than I was expecting. Because it's kind of, isn't it a follow-up to, no, I don't mean in terms of like the themes or the characters, but the production team. Isn't it the same people who did The Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah.
Yeah, which obviously is a lot more like, Jesus wept, Karen, hold me coffee. Whereas this is kind of gentler and it's more, it reminds me more of a British ghost story in some ways. Do you know what I mean?
Now, I have to say, I've watched it.
Oh, have you seen it all? Yeah.
Yeah, all of it. By episode 6, I was losing interest.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of episode 7, I actually said, I don't care about watching the last 2 episodes, I'm done.
Fair enough.
But no, hang on, because I watched them anyway, and I'm glad I did, because everything...
Yeah.
Because then it made sense.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
do you know
it was
what I
just
think?
too long.
Do you know what I think would help people to know
Go on.
about that show? The woman who starts telling the story right at the beginning
Yeah.
is the gardener in the story.
Oh, see, I'm not up to the last episode yet, so I didn't know that.
No, well, you don't need to. It's
not
I
a spoiler.
think
It's not a spoiler.
No, because I think it would really benefit you to know that. Because otherwise, it's just some weird middle-aged woman in a pub telling a story.
I must admit, I did wonder who it were in the first episode. I was like, well, who's she then? Because she can't be the nanny, because the nanny's American.
Well, no, it's the gardener, and observant people might have got that, and it won't spoil anything. But I think it's an important framework to the story.
Yeah.
My
That's true.
asthma,
Go on.
my lovely darling. Exactly. Oh, it's nice to be back, my asthma.
Oh, I was suspended in animation there, like... Well, someone suspended in animation, really.
Now, I've got another series to talk about my asthma.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's on... No, it is. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Utopia.
Ooh.
Now, apparently it was originally made in 2014 by Channel 4.
Oh, right, okay.
And so it was on Channel 4 back then. Now, we didn't know this, and in that series there's a season 1, 8 episodes, and a season 2, 6 episodes. So me and Jason got confused because a friend recommended it to Paul, and he was looking. Anyway, so I was looking for it, found this series Utopia, started watching it. It's an American remake, 2020. Oh, it's good. It's so good.
Is it right good?
John Cusack's brilliant in it.
Oh, I love John Cusack.
He's brilliant in it. He's so good. And the cast, honestly, are incredible. You know when you watch something and you're just like, I fully believe everything that's happening right now. Every character, but so good, so good. Cannot recommend it highly enough.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Now,
Man.
no links to anything, you know. It's not. It is a conspiracy theory ridden series based on fans of a comic book. That's all I'll tell you. It's amazing.
Yes.
So worth watching.
Do you ever see The Great British Bake Off?
No.
No, it's an hard watch for me because I've always watched it, but it's hard. I suppose it's like because you like MasterChef, don't you?
Yeah. The
And
Australian
it's hard,
one.
do you know when you're watching people cooking with things that you wouldn't eat? Do you know what I mean? So it can be a bit hard, but important to have that conversation because I'm sure people are still fans of the show. It doesn't imply endorsement.
No.
You know,
but
I'll tell you something.
I watch loads of non-vegan YouTubers.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. This is the world we live in. You know, one brick at a time. And I'll tell you something, and this is not to sound hateful, but I really think that on this series they really put a foot wrong with having Matt Lucas as the new presenter.
Has it not worked? Hang on, what's happened to
Sandy Toksvig? She's gone.
Oh, so he's working with Sean Fielding.
From Mighty Boosh, Noel Fielding, yeah.
Noel
I
Fielding.
do enjoy.
Sean Fielding.
I do like Noel.
It's me obsessed with politicians, that.
It's an easy mistake to make. Perhaps they're related, who can say?
No, Sean Fielding's leader of Oldham Council. Have you seen him?
I've not seen him.
Have you not? Sean, you fit. No. Said it now.
There you go. And
that makes it fact.
Loads of people fancying Burnham after that, aren't they? Did you see that? Loads of people will be like, my wife just said that Andy Burnham's fit, and I'm like, she's socially engaged. That's good.
Andy Burnham is fit, and Andy Burnham is not afraid to stand up and be counted. We need more of that. We need more of that in this world. That's what the problem is. That's why there aren't more people who are vegan. That's why the bloody animal agriculture business is still being funded. Billions of pounds and dollars all over the world. Are you alright? Oh, sorry, love.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm just agreeing with you.
You know, and that's why you get so defensive sometimes when you're faced with vegan facts and figures, because the world has always told you this is your right. This is your absolute right. We must save these people. They're doing the country a great disservice. And what about all the tiny animals that get killed when crops are being harvested? 95% of the crops being harvested are used for animal feed. So if you care about animals so much, stop eating them.
This has been a public service announcement brought to you by TVQ.
Thank you very much.
It's very
Do you know what I mean? I find it frustrating.
Right. I want to pick up on that as well because, as you know, people at home, Gemini and I work in the arts, and I'm sure you won't have missed how very little support there has been for the arts. A lovely damn pit there. Throughout this pandemic, and people that are self-employed, freelance, which include us, and there's been so much on the telly of late, adverts, they're really pushing, we must rescue the animal agriculture industry, or we must mention the agricultural industries, and Rishi came out and said, not everybody will be allowed to have the same job after the pandemic's over, you might have to retrain. Why can't the farmers retrain?
You know what they're scared of?
Next jobs be in cyber.
You know what they're scared of, don't you, Miasma? You know why they're funding these farming industries so much? Because come January the 1st, when it's official, you know, we've had this transitionary period. Brexit, it is January the 1st, isn't it? December 31st is like the last day.
I think it's December 31st, yeah.
Any trade from that point forward that we currently have with Europe, and we ship in a lot of food from Europe into this country, is going to have to be renegotiated.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely.
And the leaders are terrified that there isn't going to be enough food to feed everyone. And so please, Mr. Samuel, please keep shoving your fist up that cow's ass, making her pregnant, taking the baby away. We need veal, we need milk.
It's true. That, by the way, wasn't meant to imply anybody at home that, you know, farmers that deal in crops and stuff. I wasn't saying that they shouldn't have their industries supported. What I'm saying is,
that's sustainable, miasma.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we should quantify that, because people do pull you up on a point, don't they, about stuff like that. The fact is, vegetable farming, crop farming, the kind of farming that replenishes the soil, that grows hardy crops, is a crucial part of agriculture. Abusing animals that don't need to be, and feeding them huge amounts of food and water for them to create huge amounts of greenhouse gases just so they can end up on your plate when they didn't need to be there in the first place. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. Not to mention, of course, the Amazon rainforest being cut down to grow soy, most of which we're not precious about it. Stop feeding it to the cows. That's what you're doing. 95% almost of the soy grown on Earth is fed to animals. All those poor little animals from that crop harvesting. Can't you stop eating them, please? You're the cause. You're the cause. There you go. Deflect that, Deirdre.
Yeah, well, you're at it. Eve, you know what, love? I've not got too much battery left, mate.
No, well, no, we'll bring this to a close soon. It's now, let's announce quickly. What's happening a week on Saturday, miasma?
It's Spooky Halloween.
And what's happening with us?
We're going to be here on your televisual YouTube screens for a special Halloween special.
Now, we're not doing it live, we are filming it, but here's the idea. Miasma, will Stuart let you borrow his Libraries Open account?
Oh, I think so.
Well, if we set it as a premiere for Halloween night, we could be there chatting. Miasma on the Libraries Open channel, and Paul will let me use those vegan guys' channel. We can be there.
I'm sure he would. He's very fond of you.
Live chatting.
Let's do that. Should we do that? People
I think
at
we
home,
should.
We're going to do it anyway.
Let us know down there whether you'd like it to be premiered so we can have a live chat during Halloween. Yeah. And if you let us know your favourite female horror quote, so it can be from a sci-fi film or a horror film or a comedy horror, your favourite female line, we'll see what we can do. You get me? You get me, my ass.
You get her? Do you hear her? Do you hear her? Yeah.
She used to act like that on the streets of Germany when we were running from KGB, just like that.
Yeah. I never had any complaints.
No, she got away with it. She made a fortune. Anyway, let's not talk about that today.
That's not for today.
So, we'll see you, rather than a week on Thursday, we'll actually see you on Saturday for the Halloween special. And then after that,
we'll be back to normal, love. We'll be back on
Thursdays. So it'll be like Saturday and then it'll be a week on the Thursday. Well, yeah. So we'll see you on Halloween anyway. That's the main thing. This has been Gemini. Standing up for breast cancer awareness. Look at my armpits. Lovely. This has been the lovely Miasma.
Celebrating Black History Month.
This has been pair of us having a right good goss. Ian, we can't thank you enough for watching. My darling, I'll see you again soon.
Love you, Mum.
Love you too. Bye, love. Bye.